Welcome back, everybody! Today, I'm supposed to take a look at the original King Kong movie, but, funny thing happened this morning. Not sure what the thing that was left behind was, but I can look at it later. For now, we'll be looking at its replacement, King Kong Escapes. At this point, we've seen King Kong live, die, live again, die again, fight a giant radioactive monster, and now he's escaping? From what? Well, let's go over the specifics. Given that this is a Toho production, you would think this is somehow related to King Kong vs. Godzilla, but believe it or not, this movie is partially a remake to Rankin Bass's The King Kong Show from 1966, which was a loose adaptation to the original movie. King Kong Escapes has both Rankin Bass assistants and the usual Toho crew, like Ishiro Honda and Takashi Kimura. So what sort of story are we in for? And how does it translate into a live-action setting? Let's find out. Let us watch King Kong Escape! I'll be looking at the 1967 Japanese version, which has 8 more minutes of screen time than the American version. We open on the United Nations submarine, the Explorer, where a crew of researchers are exploring the Java Sea. The team is led by Carl Nelson, played by Rhodes Reason, and voiced by Kei Taguchi, and they appear to be looking for King Kong's island home.
コングだよ。地球上最も強い生き物だ。
コングは伝説に出てくる怪獣でしょ？
伝説の中には事実に基づくものもあるんです。
You might be forgiven for thinking that this movie was still tied into King Kong vs. Godzilla, but no. While the Explorer is doing its task, we cut over to some secret base in an icy region, where we are immediately shown to Mechani-Kong. Fun fact, this was the inspiration to Mechagodzilla, and not the other way around, because obviously, he came about years later. Well, assuming Godzilla doesn't wake up again and takes on your mecha gorilla. In fact, any of the giant monsters in this universe could do that. Anyway, this is the main villain of the movie, Doctor Who. Exactly. Who? Yes, it's Who! Who! Look, his name is literally called Doctor Who. There's nothing else to it. Oh, absolutely not. The Doctor doesn't even have a name. Apparently, Mechani-Kong's design is based on Nelson's studies on the giant ape, and this was originally meant to be a government secret weapon. But now, Doctor Who plans to use Mechani-Kong to mine for Element X. His benefactor, Madame Piranha, is doubtful of him.
Element X があれば、どこの国よりも早く、安く、しかも威力のある核兵器が作れる。
北極のこんなところから、新しい世界征服の1ページが始まるってわけね。
Well, if nothing else, you can use that technology to run your own Santa delivery service. Apparently, Mechani-Kong has these giant grenades. This allows it to drop down crevices, and I guess mine through the ice? Eventually, using its massive strength, it breaks through enough of the cavern to find the Element X they're looking for. But before it starts collecting, the radiation there causes the machine to break down. This doesn't impress Piranha, but Doctor Who convinces her to keep funding his project. Meanwhile, back on the Explorer, a falling rock damages the submarine and forces it to surface. And while they're up here, I should probably mention the other 2 supporting characters. Meet Lieutenant Commander Jiro Nomura, played by Akira Takarada, who was in several Toho and Godzilla films, and Lieutenant Susan Watson, played by Linda Miller and voiced by Akiko Santo. You could say that these 3 replace the Bond family from the King Kong show. Using some kind of floating aircraft that looks too advanced for 1967, They set foot on the island. They see a native atop a large mountain, and from what they could interpret, they can't be here since this is King Kong's home. But despite the warnings, the men decide to further explore while leaving Susan behind with the aircraft. But if there's anything we've learned about giant monsters, it's that they're attracted to pretty women. See what I mean? This is Gorosaurus, an original monster created for this movie. It causes Susan to freak out, and it's enough to wake up Kong. From these shots, we can see that the gorilla costume is different this time around. His head is a lot bigger and rounder than how it was in King Kong vs. Godzilla. Anyway, Kong picks up Susan and... must resist dirty joke. Fight time! It starts out slow, but ramps up when Gorosaurus does a jump kick like a kangaroo. I suppose that's its main method of attack because it spams that move a few more times. But that doesn't faze Kong because he just grapples Gorosaurus and beats the shit out of him. Then he dies. At least until Destroy All Monsters. Thought Godzilla was the only one to be goofy at times? Well, here's King Kong doing it. Oh, my mistake. Gorosaurus was only knocked out. Good thing Kong set Susan down a bit earlier. As the humans escape, Kong finishes off Gorosaurus for good by breaking its jaw, literally foaming at the mouth. But it's not over yet. A sea serpent then shows up, but Kong pushes it back by using rock throw on it. The humans obviously realize that they need to leave now because the giant ape is after them too. He must really want Susan if he's willing to chase them this far. Speaking of, she tries to get on deck to talk him down. It goes well. And by well, I mean not well. She escapes by jumping into the water, which should have cracked all the bones in her body, but after putting her back on the boat, Kong gets the hint and decides to go home. Now the team needs to report their findings to the UN. Madame Piranha is there, posing as a reporter.
バスに従順だったのはどんな理由だと思われます？
我々にはよくわかるんですがね、何と言いますか、キングコングは男性です。そしてワトソン君はねえ、皆さんお分かりでしょう。
Well, what if Ray from Queen Kong were there with you instead? Maybe Kong would have been infatuated with a hot guy? You don't know. Either way, this meeting is her excuse to give Doctor Who another chance, despite already having done so. But she does raise a good point.
コングは生身です。放射能にやられることはありませんね。
その場でぶっ倒れる心配はないさ。いずれは命を縮めるだろうが。仕事が終わってからくたばる分には差し支えはない。
Chances are he might survive long enough to get you what you want before dying. But at the same time, how are you gonna get him to do anything for you? For now, they head to the island to try and capture Kong. It takes them a while, but they knock him out with sleeping gas. The old native guy notices this, but he gets taken care of. Surprised it took 3 shots to put him down. With that, they fly Kong to their base, just as Nelson and his crew arrive on the island. They find the dying old man who tells them what happened.
ことは話した。犯人の見当も大体ついた。これはきっと国際的に名の通ったお尋ね者、ドクター・フーだ。
Yeah, not sure why these subtitles use who instead of who, but whatever. So while our heroes track down the bad guys, we cut over to Doctor Who's ship, where Kong is slowly starting to wake up. Mechani-Kong is on board as well. Not sure how they retrieved it, let alone repair it. But regardless, the main villain starts his plan to control Kong. This involves kidnapping Nelson, Susan, and Jiro in a hanging light fixture to hypnotize the giant ape. Doctor Who then plants some devices into Kong, which gives the scientist direct control. He then forces the monster to mine for Element X. but the radiation wears off the hypnosis. No, he clearly reached it. Now get your hazmat suits on and go get it yourself. Well, at least we now know Kong can withstand that level of radiation. Anyway, Nelson's group is now captured, and Doctor Who tells them of his plans to sell Element X to whoever wants it. And since the Doctor also has the hots for Susan, he's also planning to recapture Kong. Dr. Piranha also tries to seduce Nelson into aiding her, but that goes nowhere.
君は日本人でも中国人でもない。タイ、ベトナム、ビルマか。
そのうちのどれでもないね。連れて行け。
So to get his cooperation, Doctor Who threatens to blast his friends' jail cells with freezing air. Nelson tries fighting back, but is restrained in the end. The Doctor then lies to Jiro and Susan about their boss being dead. But even then, they refuse to help. God bless their dedication to protecting the giant ape. Speaking of, he causes a cave-in and breaks out of the base. Mechani-Kong is then used to chase Kong, while Piranha quietly frees our heroes. She only just wanted to do what's best for her country, and she needs their help to stop Kong from wreaking havoc in Tokyo. Now that Kong is there, you know what that means. Break out the toy tanks!
よし攻撃中止攻撃中止
Aw, but I wanted him to smash! It's okay, because Susan is here to calm Kong down. But with Mechani-Kong showing up, it's time for a Rock'em Sock'em monster battle! That again? Well, you could have done that back at the... you okay? Well, moving on. Nelson and company break the Hypno Light to free Kong, only for him to be blasted by the bright eye beams. But otherwise, here's a brief look at their fight. I'd show more if I wasn't afraid of copyright. Doctor Who shows up and tells his creation to kidnap Susan. When it does, it then proceeds to climb up to Tokyo Tower. This is to coerce Kong into working for Doctor Who, because if he doesn't do what is asked, Susan is going to take a long fall. But it's here where Piranha shows up to stop Doctor Who, which gives Kong the time to climb up the tower. Another epic battle ensues there, but again, I can't show too much of it. All I can say is that it's pretty intense for its time. Nelson and Jiro also rescue Susan, which allows Kong to fight his robot enemy with all his might. Piranha also sacrifices herself to sabotage the ladder, and this causes Mechani-Kong to fall. Damn! That was cool. Kong then proceeds to find and destroy the Doctor's ship. I have to wonder how much fun the suit actors have in destroying these giant props on a regular basis. In any event, the Doctor dies. Guess he won't be back for a sequel. Not that there was ever going to be. And the movie ends with Kong swimming home, and our heroes watching in awe. Well, that was a lot of fun, as far as Japanese kaiju movies go. I mean, if you had no idea this was based on a Rankin Bass show, you'd find this to be a rather enjoyable King Kong movie. Of course, being a reimagining of a reimagining, there are going to be some Japanese filmmaking flair, like the Gorosaurus and the Sea Serpent, and they don't pull any punches with the death and destruction in this movie. The human element of this movie was fine, but nothing too special. At least they get out of the way for the real reason we watch a flick like this, because the fight scenes are intense throughout, and the climax on Tokyo Tower is also quite unique. Sometime after this movie came out, Toho would have lost the rights to the King Kong name, so any mention of the character would be retconned to something like King Gorilla. This also prevented them from doing a remake of King Kong vs. Godzilla, or a planned movie where Godzilla fought Mechani-Kong, but at least they took what they learned from Mechani-Kong and created Mechagodzilla, who is easily one of the most iconic monsters in the Godzilla series. At the end of the day, whether or not you think this movie follows the Rankin Bass series well, it's another enjoyable monster movie. I had fun seeing what creative measures Toho will use when pinning their monsters together. I am the Media Hunter. Media's my prey, and reviewing them my way. Alright, let's see what's on this thing. Maybe it'll tell us who took King Kong away from me.
To whom this may concern, this is Spitcheck Films. I regret to inform you that our entire base of operations have been destroyed and have fallen to enemy hands. This message has been previously recorded in case I go MIA, and contains an item of great importance that you must keep secret and keep safe. The item is a beacon that, once activated, will signal you when the time comes. This is a warning to anyone canon to the Reviewerverse. If you're listening to this, the Great War is coming, and we're going to need all the help we can get. End of line.
Well, damn. That's not good. Well, until we know more, we can only wait and see. Hope you're okay out there, Jack, wherever you are.